Hey there, gamers!
I'm Olivia DeAmicis.
And I am Drake Munson, and welcome to the fourth and final episode of Critical Damage Season 11.
The past 2 weeks were so insanely busy. First PAX East, and then Anime Boston.
I met a guy with a TV for a head who gave me his email.
I bought a Danganronpa keychain, and I don't regret it one bit.
I'm pretty sure I sold my unborn child for early access to Pokemon Champions.
Yeah, as one does. So, with us on discussion today, we have Bennett and Meg.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We are talking about gaming conventions. This is obviously a huge field, and there are so many. GDC was in March, and PAX East was just 2 weeks ago. And in the summer coming up, many developers and studios are preparing themselves for the next round of cons.
Much to discuss.
Yes.
You guys were at PAX, right?
Yes, I was at PAX. I was in fact with Drake. I met the TV head guy. I did not get his email, unfortunately.
He was a cool dude. Just cool dude.
I liked him.
I have been to many conventions recently. I went to PAX. I went to the Game Developers Conference, which does have a big convention part of it. And I also work for Boston Fig, which is the Boston Festival of Indie Games.
Yeah.
And then I also work for Indiecade, which is in California, Festival for Indie Games. So lots of expos and stuff like that.
Wait, I have the perfect pun for this. You're the connoisseur.
All right.
Bro! Sorry, this is what
I
they have
love
for-
a good pun.
for me
I love a
being
good
honest.
pun.
Can you believe that wasn't
This is
scripted?
what you get. Okay, so our first question of today is, should conventions focus more on advertising new games, or should they market to existing fans?
From a business standpoint, they should probably be marketing to existing fans, which is what they do already. You're seeing a lot of the same games show up when it comes to like promo materials and stuff. But I think the point of the convention is you're supposed to be finding new indie games. You know, you're not going to replay Mario Wonder. Yeah, you know. But that's just my opinion.
Well, this is what I think is interesting, is it's where you kind of get into the line between what is a game expo and what is a gaming convention.
This is a very good point.
Yeah.
Because like when I go to like Tidewater Comic Con in my hometown, I'm not going there to find out about like new and exciting games. I'm going there for like community and to meet up with people and see cool and fun stuff and like look at cosplays. But when I go to an expo, like when I went to PAX, exposition, I'm supposed to be seeing something new. I wanted to see the new Magic the Gathering set. I wanted to see the new Pokemon game. Like I wanted to be learning things and being taught stuff.
Yeah, I guess I get confused between expo, convention, and festival, because those are kind of the big three. And they're all very muddled together, and I don't think anybody has a really clear definition of what is which, you know? They all kind of group them together.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that so much of it is about like spectacle and enticement too, because I remember going and like when you walk into PAX, the entire like right side is all Nintendo games at first, and it was Pokopia and it was Mario Wonder. It was games that had already been out for a while now, and so they weren't trying to push new stuff. But then right next to it is Pokemon Champions, their brand new game, which I believe dropped 2 days ago, something like that. Yeah, and so there is like a good mixture of like fun spectacle things, like photo opportunities, so the more interactive stuff. There was their whole exhibit for No, I'm Not Human, which was the interactive gameplay thing. That was really interesting. Then next to it, you had like all these indie developers lining up with like, here's a laptop and a new game we've designed. And I think that balance of both is actually kind of nice.
Yeah, I feel like PAX does a very good job. Like, you can come and want to play the games that you play at home, or like there was the Magic the Gathering section where people who, you know, it's a game that they already play and they go there to, you know, play the same game that they play, but with, you know, their friends or playing with strangers. And so I feel like there's something for everyone at PAX, which I think is really awesome. Yeah. You can discover new things or play familiar things in a new environment. Yeah, totally. So I definitely think that's a plus. Our next question is, what booths should be at conventions and what booths shouldn't be?
I am always a sucker for any kind of Artist's Alley booth. Like I was lucky enough to be able to go to GalaxyCon in Raleigh over the last summer.
Oh, no way.
And there was a tiny little booth in an Artist's Alley that I loved. That was so fun. They were doing fully unique hand-done t-shirts where they were using a like bleach pen to stain black and brown t-shirts into having designs of squirrels on them. And I was like, this is the best. I bought a shirt, it's a squirrel chomping on an acorn, and I love that. And that's so weird and so beautiful. And I think like cons using their platforms to allow weird squirrel drawing freaks to like have a place for their like for their consumers is awesome, and I love being a part of that.
I have to ask, was it only squirrels?
It was only squirrels.
Only squirrels.
Yeah, it was really cool. I wish I knew their names so I could shout them out, but if you know a person who does unique squirrel t-shirts, shout them out. We love you.
That's really funny.
Yeah, I love seeing variety of booths, particularly. I went to Anime Boston and seeing a bunch of different, like artists, styles, and media, and I am a little bit tired of seeing the same Genshin keychain and slightly different art styles in like 10 booths. So I always appreciate variety and I always appreciate merch of my favorite indie games that I never see in public. And if I see like my niche interest in public, it always makes me super happy.
Yeah. I think it was a nice mixture, like seeing both the like mainstream, here's the merchandise that's like licensed by Nintendo, and then here's like someone in their basement made custom enamel pins. I think having both of those is nice because it's a very different perspective. And I think the fact that there is room for both of those makes for a more interesting experience, especially if you're on a budget and there's different budgets and different sorts of things. Like, do you care more about the brand identity, or do you just care about the like specific item?
Mm-hmm. Our next question is, do conventions do enough to highlight indie devs?
Definitely depends on the convention, because I think PAX, you could make the argument that it's one of those ones that doesn't really help the indie devs that much.
I don't think the map helps either. It's
Yes.
an absolute mess trying to
booths
find
for
your
the-
favorite small indie dev at a teeny tiny booth.
Yes, because they're all so tiny and they're so incredibly competitive and expensive. I don't think people realize how expensive it is to actually get an indie booth at PAX. It is like thousands of dollars. And sometimes you're applying to these places who will have a couple booths set up. And so they're like, okay, indie studios, indie games, like apply with your game, and then we'll pick out which ones we like to, feature at our section. And so when you're trying to discover new indie games, you're only discovering the top like 1%, like the most already popular, already polished indie games. You're not really finding like the indies of the indies,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
really interesting.
remember there was this whole alley, because we had spent a great deal of the day looking for Brazilian Drug Dealer 3. which we're repping today. But like in looking for them, I went down this whole alley, and it was really, there was no signs, there was no markers, it was just people with computer setups that were demoing an indie game. And there were some really fun games in there. There was a game where it was like a tower defender, but you were a chicken with a sword. And I remember being like, this is such a weirdly niche thing that I wouldn't have known about if I hadn't gotten lost.
Yeah, I personally would appreciate like 2 separate maps, one for like big companies and one for indie. Because I would prefer like 2 really detailed maps as opposed to one giant confusing one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
And I will say, I think the most fun that I had the entire day at PAX was playing against Drake in a game called like Soda Saloon.
Oh my God.
That's so fun.
I'm betting on it. I think it's called Soda Saloon. It's somewhere out on itch. You are playing as like competing soda jerks trying to make like different mixed drinks with all the different syrups and like colas and Sprites. And it is so addictively fun because there's only one of each kind of ingredient and you have to fight over them constantly. And I was just stealing stuff out of Drake's hands.
I remember at one point you just had all the bottles in a pile and you were not making anything. You just wouldn't let me take any.
Yes, I had 11 points and you had 9, and there's not a lot of time left. So I was just like, if I just run interference, I win. So I just held the lime syrup and was just like piloting around the screen to not let you have it.
Yeah.
Our next question is, are conventions reasonably priced?
No.
Tax ticket is $75 for the
one day.
For the one day, like basic ticket.
The 4-day pass is like in the 200.
And that was the thing too, is I remember going to PAX. I had a great time. We got there when it opened, and we left like 2 hours before closing. And I'm like, I'm done. I saw everything I wanted to see. Granted, I was going for more like video game than I was tabletop or card games. Yeah. So I was skipping certain sections, but I felt like satisfied after whatever that was. Like I got there at 10, so 6 hours.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what are the dangers of certain conventions?
Well, for one, my wallet.
Oh yeah.
I have spent way too much money at conventions, I fear. Entirely optional, but it's like, it's too easy to just buy a bunch of Magic cards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I bought a lot of Magic cards. I spent like $70 at the Brazilian drug dealer booth.
Worth though.
It's totally worth it.
Absolutely worth it.
Absolutely worth it. But still, I think that is one of the big problems, is that there is so much time to look at new games and meet new people, but a good chunk of the time that you spend at the con is going to be buying stuff, unfortunately. And that can make like the con experience a little difficult because it's just like I'm spending money on a ticket to go to a place and buy things.
And spend more money.
And spend more money. So it's like, hopefully this is worth it.
It's become very commercialized.
Yeah, and it's also, it can be dangerous for women, for cosplayers.
Absolutely.
People getting touched without their consent, taking pictures without their consent. It's not always the best experience.
Yeah.
I have had some great experiences, but I've also had some not so great. So
No, when we went with our friend Henry, he was dressed as Wario in a very like fun Wario costume he had from Halloween, and it was a lot of fun interacting with cosplayers. And a couple of them approached me and were like, "Hey, you guys were so just like nice. Thank you for not making this weird." And I'm like, I don't think we did anything except for take a photo. This was not an impressive interaction.
Yeah, getting thanked for like human decency is always like, who's out there?
Who's making this so scary that human decency is like impressive?
Yeah. And on a lighter note, how does community affect game conventions positively?
I mean, I think the community is the convention in a large part.
Absolutely.
Like, especially because I'm so involved in the like indie festivals and in Boston, like you start recognizing people when you go and you're like, oh, hey, I've played your games before, and they bring their friends, and I think that's what's the most important part, but obviously it's hard. You need to cultivate a community, and with PAX it's a little different because it's so kind of global in a sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I love when I get to see like a group cosplayer, like a huge meetup thing. Cause that's just always so exciting and beautiful because I'm like, oh my God, this must be so fun for all of them to be a part of something so big. Like, you just know that's a blast.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I know Meg met Markiplier, which I figure is probably
my God,
favorite convention memory.
Lucky. I almost forgot to mention, I met Markiplier at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, and he was super chill. He was wearing a mask. So I could tell like he was trying to be sneaky, but I saw him in his eyes and I was like, I know who you are. And I was like, sir, do you happen to be Markiplier? And he was like, I am, lowered the mask. And I was like, would it be okay if I take a picture? And he went, as long as you're super subtle. And I was like, I got you, bro.
I'm like hearing it in his voice as you're telling us.
That sounds like something he would say.
And then I went to my next conference and I was like shaking the whole time. I was like, oh, he's here. But yeah, so that's the community there, gamers and YouTubers sometimes, if you're lucky.
If you're Meg.
Awesome.
If you're Meg.
So that is the end of our discussion.
Yeah.
This was a very productive one. We love conventions.
Thank you.
Stick around for our field segment and we'll be back with our first frame news.
Yeah, Jackie, I get that you're back. Oh, gotta go. Hey you, you're the first real gamer I've seen all morning. Check this out. Super Gamers Weekly on Freebie. Wow.
What's this one?
Oh, this is, Critical Damage on Emerson Channel. Here, look at these radical colors.
Wow, Crit's got real gamers.
Hey, over here.
I like Critical Damage, and it broadcasts live.
Kids, this show there.
I'll watch Critical Damage on M-Chan.
I knew you'd say that.
Critical Damage. More action, more laughs. By gamers, for gamers. Only on the Emerson Channel.
Hello, I'm Cassie.
And I'm Sakai, and this is First Frame News.
A few weeks ago, NVIDIA delivered a groundbreaking new technology that absolutely no one asked for, DLSS 5. Previous versions of DLSS are AI-powered tools that assist in lowering frame rates, making them good for performance. Unlike these helpful tools, DLSS 5 is a real-time rendering model that uses generative AI to make games look more realistic. After showcasing this feature using clips of several games, NVIDIA received a massive wave of backlash from angry gamers, many referring to it as an Instagram filter for games. This feature takes away from the creative artists which give these games their unique art style. Also, there is no need to yassify Leon Kennedy. He's already the hottest man in gaming.
Extra, extra, read all about it. A fork has reportedly been found in kitchen. As of March 24th, 2026, Epic Games has laid off over 1,000 employees. This adds to the growing number of upwards of 45,000 lost jobs in the gaming industry since 2022, leaving approximately 1/3 of the industry workers seeking employment. However, in a world full of pivots to generative AI and questionable business decisions, news of layoffs become predictable noise. However, these layoffs might not be for the reason you think. In a letter to the employees, Tim Sweeney writes, end quote, "I'm sorry we're here again. The downturn in Fortnite engagement that started in 2025 means we are spending significantly more than we're making, and we have to make major cuts to keep the company funded," end quote. Well, at least he said sorry. It's a worthy trade-off to his words, prepare for the battle of optimizing Fortnite for the world's billions of smartphones. Hey, look, on the bright side, little Timmy's parents might be unemployed, but at least he can use the rest of his parents' severance pay on microtransactions for Fortnite Mobile. What a wonderful world we live in.
PlayStation lovers suffered some bad news this past week as the company announced price hikes on all versions of the PS5. The price of a regular PS5 jumped by $100, while the PS5 Pro bumped up an additional $50. Unlike prior PlayStation consoles, most of which decreased in price by around 50% by this point in their life cycle, the PS5 has increased by 30%. Sony cites the global economic conditions as the reason for this price hike. Personally, I don't really get why we're upset. We're gamers, y'all. We love when big numbers go up.
We're gonna play a game. 2 truths and a lie. Number 1, bobbleheads in Fortnite. Number 2, a controller that plays the game for you. Or 3, Brazilian drug dealer 3, I opened a portal to hell in the favela trying to revive Mid-Eye and I need to close it, winning Game of the Year for 2026. And the cruel joke that is my life, only the first 2 are true. But, well, kind of. In the light of April Fools, your favorite titles have released their court-mandated annoyances. Fortnite released a 24-hour April Fools mode that featured an unranked battle royale, fall damage immunity, surprisingly OP finger guns, and giant heads for some reason. Meanwhile, in PlayStation Land, meet the Playmo, an AI-powered controller that gives you tips, beats bosses for you, and even orders you pizza. Listen, I'm an AI hater through and through. However, I truly believe that the Playmo has the power to prevent crash outs across the world. And combined with Fortnite's new range-inducing mode, I think we have something here. Who knows? Food for thought.
Gamers, 2027 is our year, as Mojang announced that their $110 million Minecraft World amusement park will open in Britain as a part of Chessington World of Adventures Resort. The attraction is advertised as a fully immersive Minecraft world with a Minecraft-themed roller coaster. I'm optimistic for this because they brought in actual Minecraft creators for ideas and feedback, including Scar, Grian, Aimsy, LD Shadow Lady, and the absolute GOAT Dan TDM. We'll have to see what the final product looks like, but I'm probably going to grab my Elytra and fireworks and head right over the Atlantic.
Did you know you have rights? Nintendo says you don't. As many of you know, Nintendo had previously been in a long-standing patenting battle for the sole purpose of smiting Palworld, resulting them in getting 26 new patents, one of which was the very game mechanic of summoning monsters for the purpose of battle. Insane stuff, I know. However, as of 2 months ago, the USPTO director, John A. Squires, awesome name by the way, re-examined the patents and revoked all 26 of them. While this decision is non-final, this has major implications for the future of Palworld and Monster Catcher games as a whole. Additionally, this opens the door for similar patents from other games to be revoked in the future. But me personally, I see this as a sign of the end times. Nintendo? Sue local business owners because their names happen to be Mario Nintendo? No. The day Nintendo loses a major legal battle is the day an asteroid comes and destroys us all. For once in my life, I kinda hope Nintendo wins, for all of our sakes. But that's all for Force Frame. Tune back for our indie game package.
The grass, the trees, a gentle breeze, a smile, a laugh, a kiss on the cheek. Sing with the winds, then sing with me, a symphony so unique. Rootsy daisy, oh the adventures you'll see. Maybe we'll be bestest of friends, you and me.
We are running the open. We are running the open. Just stay where you are. Right, camera two, go camera two.
It's time for our indie game shoutout. Here are some new and upcoming indie games that you should keep your eyes on. Royalty Free For All. Take control of characters from public domains all across the world and duke it out in this upcoming platform fighter by Quadruple A Games. REP Sam's Nessie gameplay is unmatched, trust. Real Tiny. Live out all of your fishing dreams on a huge scale in this cozy collectathon by Red Rabbit Games. Who needs a city mouse when we've got a fishing mouse at home? Null Point Protocol. Take the grind out of MMORPGs, but revel in the hype of this 4-player action roguelite by Everbloom Games. Leroy Jenkins would be proud. D6. Roll the dice and bet it all on gravity in this unique physics-based bullet hell god game by Byte Rocker Games. Just make sure you don't quit before you hit it big. And that's all for our indie game shoutout. Now back to the show.
Welcome back, gamers. For our variety segment this week, we wanted to share some of our experiences at PAX East and highlight what the convention had to offer, and we have a segment prepared, so without any further ado, here's the clip.
Today we're at the Boston Convention Center for PAX East. We're going to be playing a bunch of indie games, going to booths, and just having a really fun time.
Hey, this is Meg. I didn't really get a chance to play many games because I had other matters to attend to, so I sent out my fellow Critical Damage minions to go out and find some awesome games to share with y'all. Let's see what they came up with.
I love visiting gaming conventions. I've visited quite a few this year alone. Seeing all the independent creators from across the globe is insanely inspirational for an ambitious game developer like me. While I have many favorite games that I did play at PAX, there was one that particularly stood out. The Secret of Weepstone. Return to the roots of Dungeons & Dragons in this hand-drawn black and white dungeon crawler RPG by Talesworth Game Studio. Gather your party, collect your weapons, and roll for the best numbers to survive against goblins, skeletons, and evil spirits trapped within. The demo is out to play now, and the full game is planned to be released later this year on Steam. Maybe this time I can seduce the door.
The best part of gaming conventions is sitting down at a booth with strangers and playing a completely new game. This is what happened with my favorite game at PAX, Mech Tech, a mix of card battler and real-time strategy. Swap between placing minions in a card battle style and pushing the other team's base, similar to a MOBA. You and your friends each take a role and swap between them, leading to strategic coordination. A customized deck with a wide variety of units and 6 unique heroes to fight on the ground makes each match unique. Battle your friends in 2v2 and 4v4 battles, or team up for a 4-player cooperative roguelike campaign. Mech Tech is targeting a December 2026 release with a Kickstarter active until April 16th.
Ready your engine and drive through the streets of Felicia Bay. Bus Simulator 27 is set in a fictional region based on the Iberian Peninsula, and it's the 7th lineup of the franchise series. Pick up passengers as you explore routes, passing through new sites around the city. Play with friends on their 4-person co-op multiplayer mode. With over 45 licensed bus models across several manufacturers, Bus Simulator 27 will have the largest licensed fleet in its series. Developed using Unreal Engine 5, the game features ultra-realistic graphics, AI traffic, and immersive gameplay. It's planned to be released the second half of 2026 on PC and console.
One of my favorite games that I played at PAX East has got to be Soft Drink Saloon, an arcade-style bartender battle between friends and soon-to-be enemies. The game was created by Calandra Reuter, Anthony Russo, Kyle Justice, Kennedy Clev, and Daniel Varga, who are all students at Quinnipiac University. At PAX, I had the pleasure of playing on the Quinnipiac University GDD arcade machine, but you at home can play Soft Drink Saloon right now on itch.io. Play with up to 4 players and duke it out to see who's the best in mixing drinks at high noon.
PAX 2026 was my first ever gaming convention. So many bright and creative individuals under one roof was a sight to behold. I played a handful of games for the short time I was able to attend, and the one that stood out immensely was Barony, a first-person roguelike that has up to 4-player co-op, 9 races, and 26 unique classes made the game have so much variety and interesting synergies. Though I was only able to play one round of it, the randomness and extreme difficulty of the game made it an incredible memory of utter chaos and outlandish fun. It just received its newest expansion, Deserters and Disciples, which came out at the beginning of this year. I think I'll still be the first to die even after dozens of hours.
I'm Cassie, and my favorite indie game from PAX is Doodah. Made by Bernadine Matson as her thesis project at Pratt Institute, Doodah is a surreal, story-driven game inspired by the Dada art movement of the 1920s, and features environments made up of actual collage from books, magazines, and trash. You play as astronaut Cat Ulysses, delivering company pamphlets to residents of an alien planet, who you cannot fully understand. With over 50 planned endings, this mixed media game is one to check out, now out on itch.io.
My favorite part about the PAX East experience is the tabletop area. There's free play in the tabletop area as well as competitive tournaments, but there's an area called First Look, in which they unveil new tabletop games that are unreleased or aren't distributed in the US.
While I was somewhat intimidated by the host of things to do in the convention, the biggest thing that stuck with me from attending PAX was the other cosplayers I was able to interact with. Nothing compares to discovering what you thought was an isolated fixation is in fact just as enthusiastically shared by a small but precious few others you encounter. Even with all my anxiety, it was a delight working up the courage to ask for a photo and engaging in brief yet vibrant connection. I felt secure knowing that the most discreet details would be noticed by someone who lost just as much sleep trying to get the same features correct. And nonetheless, I still deeply appreciated how the exhibition really lets you get engaged with the gaming community, whether it be casual gamers looking for new novelties or seasoned developers getting exposure for their passions. It was a wholehearted blast to behold. It felt like a place to be surrounded by folks just as weird as you.
It's here, it's queer, it's got a facelift and veneers, it's Brazilian drug dealer before 4. Demons from the portal to hell I opened are still in the favela, and now I have to save Mamadas from Ronaldo. I got the incredible opportunity to play the standalone sequel to Crit's Game of the Year 2025, Brazilian Drug Dealer 3. I opened a portal to hell in the favela trying to revive Mit Aya, and I need to close it. Thanks to the main character shoving fireworks up his ass, The new game unveils a dash and double jump system that adds movement shooter elements to the hit classic. The extra speed and maneuverability makes the game feel like every second is as dynamic and zany as the very best parts of the previous entry. The demos left me eagerly waiting for the full release later this year.
All right, I am here with the creator of Critical Damage favorite game, Brazilian Drug Dealer 3. You're debuting your new game today, Brazilian Drug Dealer 4. The full title is Demons from the Portal to Hell. I opened her still in the favela, and now I have saved Mamadas from Ronald. Just tell us a little bit about what goes into the game. What was your inspiration for creating it?
Well, basically, I think I have to start from free. That is Brazilian Drug Dealer 3. I open up Portal to Hell in the favela, trying to revive me, trying to close it. Yes, I know the name. I also know that name. So basically, the idea for the franchise really started when I was at 3 a.m. after playing Quake, and I got into my wife and something clicked, and I said, I'm gonna create a game called Brazilian Drug Dealer 3. I opened up Portal to Hell in the favela, trying to revive me, trying to close it. So then I started creating it, and really it blew up. Yeah. The main inspo, really, to tell you guys, is that basically in Brazil, we grew up with like games. Like, I didn't grow up with GTA San Andreas. I grew up with GTA Rio de Janeiro. Like, it was like GTA San Andreas with Brazilian radios, Brazilian team jerseys on ballas, and that was still on streets. So that's the I grew up with. So I always wanted to put something like that into a game. So that's how it came up.
It's a wonderful game. We're all big fans of it. What are some of the things you're excited for with the newest game now?
I think that one of the coolest things is how the level design is really different this time, because it has a lot of verticality because of double jump and dash, because you put fireworks up his ass, you know? So it's really different. Like, there's a lot more verticality compared to the other one. Also, one thing that I really like are two of the new guns. One gun is like a flamethrower. It's based on the chimarrão drink from Brazil that's really hot. And for some reason, a lot of people have this drink here. It's a really big coincidence. It's like that thing with the metal in the end.
Oh, right, yeah.
I don't know why. I didn't plan that. It was a coincidence. I'm not joking. Also, one cool gun that I really like is the pork and beans gun. That's based on feijoada in Brazil.
Right, yeah.
Like, beans explodes asses, right? So the idea is to be like a needler gun. The more you shoot, the more it explodes enemies. Right. It's a really cool gun. I'm proud, you know? Also, another cool thing that I really like, the 6th level in this demo, it has 400 enemies on it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, where can we find your game? When do you release it?
Well, you can find Brazilian Drug Dealer 3. I open a Portal to Hell in the favela, trying to revive me, I need to close it on Steam right now. But Brazilian Drug Dealer B44, Demons from the Portal to Hell, I open a in the favela, and I have table mods from Ronaldo. It's coming out September 16th, but you can wishlist it now.
Mark your calendars for September 16th. Thank you so much. It's wonderful talking to you.
Thank
All right.
You know, it's time for me to become a regular person again. Guys, who the heck is Wario?
We hope you guys enjoyed this segment. We are so sad that this season is over, but we really did have a wonderful time with you. Shout out to the awesome EPs, as well as everyone graduating. Ben, Bennett, Dash, and Drake. We love you guys so dearly.
On behalf of myself and all the other seniors that are graduating from Crit, I want to thank our viewers and this incredible team. I am so lucky to have spent half of my time at Emerson with you all. Hosting for the final season meant a lot to me. And so from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. I fucking love all of you so much. We will see, that was our one. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful summer, and we hope to see you all very, very soon. Bye, gamers!